It's Diana here at the intersection of food and literature, today looking at my final book of 2023, and it is The Cajun Night Before Christmas. As you can probably guessed if you've not heard of this book, it's a retelling of The Night Before Christmas, and it gives it a flair of southwestern Louisiana, which is where I grew up. We have been reading this book for a very long time. Let me see when it was published. Published date. First in 1973, which means I was all of 5. Too many ums. So it's the same story as The Night Before Christmas. Santa shows up, brings some gifts. The father of the household sees him and kind of describes the whole event. Not kind of, actually describes the whole thing. The twist here is there aren't reindeer. There are alligators instead. And then it's done. Let me get a picture of the alligators. They're not flying through the air. They're coming through the bayou. And it's written in now I can't think of the word. I want to say vernacular. So it's not just reading it, 'twas the night before Christmas went all through the house. I grew up in Lafayette, Louisiana, around many people. Both of my grandmothers spoke French. Many people around me spoke French. Many people around me had accents. I do not have an accent. Now, I haven't lived in Louisiana for decades, but even when I was living there, when I was in college and waiting tables, I would have people say to me things like, and obviously you aren't from here. Now, the only thing obvious was my voice, my accent. So, because we all wore the same thing. It's not like I wore, anyway. All of that to say, it's an effort for me to read this. It's not how I speak, but there's that. It sounds familiar. I get it. And also, to my chagrin, I cannot imitate the accent. I wish I could. I know enough to know I can't do it. So, I'm on the page with the food. The food I'm doing is yams, and I've just noticed that it also has gumbo. Today, I am baking yams and happen to be making a gumbo. So maybe I can do them both. We'll see. So I'm going to read a little bit of it. Again, it's the same story, but it's with different kind of characters in mood and place. That's a good thing to talk about, is a place, setting. I'm not going to read the whole story. 'Twas the night before Christmas. That's the same. And all through the house, there don't a thing pass, not even a mouse. The children been nuzzled good snug on the floor, and Mama passed the pepper through the crack on the door. Then Mama in the fireplace done roast up the ham, stir up the gumbo, and bake the yam. She's in the fireplace. I don't know anybody who cooks like this. When I grew up, we did not cook like this. We had stoves and ovens. Maybe if you're camping. And I know people used to, but not when. So she has a gumbo. She has a ham in there. Where's the ham? I don't see the ham. And she's also baking sweet potatoes. Or yams. There's a difference. I don't know it, but I know enough to know there is one. So I'm going to skip on over to Santa Claus. But you can hear it's already different. As I look out the door in the light of the moon, I think, man, you crazy, or got old too soon. 'Cause there on the bayou, when I stretch out my neck stiff, there's 8 alligators a pulling the skiff. and a little fat drover with a long pulling stick. I not know right away, got to be old Saint Nick. Here's a polling stick. He's got a stick that he's kind of guiding himself through. Also, nobody I know ties alligators to skiffs or pirogues and goes through I did not have to go through the bayou to get to school. Now there are people who go into the bayou and fish and hunt and all sorts of wonderful things, but it's not like to get across town, I have to go through the bayou. These are things I say because they're things I've been asked. And the alligators have names which I don't want to say, so I'm gonna skip them. But there's things like, so Hati boy, T, the way I understand it, is short for petite. So if your dad is Timothy and you're T Tim, then that means you're small Tim or Tim Jr., Timothy Jr. I don't know anybody. Okay, anyway. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, make crawl, alligator, and be sure you don't fall. So now he's going to come down the chimney. Then down the chimney, I yell with the bam, and St. Nicholas fall, and sit on the yam. Don't sit on right on the fire, which is what you think might happen if you come down the chimney. Sacre! He exclaimed. My pant got a hole. I done sopped myself on the red hot coal. I'm skipping. His eyes how they shine, his dimples how merry. Maybe he'd been drink the wine from blackberry. His cheek was like rose, his nose like a cherry. On second thought, maybe he lap up the sherry. All right, let's see. He don't do no talking. Gone straight to his work. Put plating in sock, then turn with a jerk. He put both his hand there on top of his head, cast his eye on the chimney, and then he done said, with all that flat fire and damn burning hot flame, I ain't going back by the way that I came. So he run out the door and he climbed to the roof. He ain't no fool, him, for to make one more goof. He climbs back up outside. That's funny. Alligators, y'all come down here. Meet me down. No, he doesn't. But that's still funny. Okay. He'd jump in his skiff and crack his big whip. The gator moved down and don't make one slip. I hear him shout loud as a splashing he go. Merry Christmas to y'all. Oh, it says to all. Merry Christmas to all. Till I see you some more. So that's how the book goes. Every time I read it, this one flowed a little better, but it gives me an appreciation for people for actors and actresses, and who take parts that aren't don't use their natural accents, because it's like exhausting. Okay, so that's the story, Cajun Night Before Christmas. I know that others have come out since this to give it a little flair. Next week we'll bake the yam, and I'm actually baking them right now, and I will make them into my customary Christmas and Thanksgiving sweet potato or yam casserole. It's yummy. All right, see y'all later.